Good afternoon and welcome to Norcal APEX Accelerator's webinar. Today, we're going to help you figure out if government contracting is right for you. My name is Amanda Anderson. I'm the program coordinator for Norcal APEX Accelerator, and I'm joined today by our fantastic procurement specialist, Liz Brazil. But before I pass it off to her for the main content of today's presentation, I do want to let you know a little bit about the APEX Accelerator program and how Norcal APEX Accelerator can help you with government contracting. So the APEX Accelerator program is a nationwide network of over 96 centers that are funded to help businesses just like you compete in the government marketplace. Our centers provide education, training, and counseling to all businesses looking to contract with any government agency. And the best part is no matter what center you're at, whether it's at Norcal Apex Accelerator, or maybe you're in Santa Cruz or San Diego and working with the Southern California Apex, or even if you are out of California, again, we are a nationwide network of centers that can help you and your business all at absolutely no cost. But what exactly does that assistance look like? Well, at Norcal Apex Accelerator, we're able to offer our no-cost services to the 15 Northern California counties that you see on your screen. And we offer them through three main pillars of assistance. First, our one-on-one counseling, where once you are accepted as a client with our center, you'll be paired with a procurement specialist just like Liz, who can help you with anything you need regarding to government contracting. Whether that's doing the initial research of what local city and county government agencies are buying your product, to helping you get certified as a local business enterprise, which is a certification in the Bay, or even certified with the state as a small business or a disadvantaged veteran business. They can help with anything from the very beginning steps to helping you with your compliance paperwork after you win your first contract, making sure those T's are crossed, those I's are dotted, and everything is in line. Another great benefit of becoming a client with Norcal Apex Accelerator is our custom bid matching software. Now, this is the software that our program actually pays for, and we're able to offer it to our clients at absolutely no charge. And this allows you to sit down with your procurement specialist and define criteria in what a good solicitation would look like for you. So maybe your business can only perform certain services in a certain geographic location. Or perhaps you have a very niche item that you market, a very niche product that maybe that product name itself would be a good criteria in a solicitation for you. You can sit down with your procurement specialist and they can help you figure out what you're really looking for when you're looking for good solicitations. And they input it into our system, which then scrapes federal, state, and local procurement sites for opportunities that are relevant based on that criteria. And it emails them directly to you. It can take a good chunk of the time out of finding these opportunities, especially at the local level. And our third pillar of resources and assistance is one you're actually taking advantage of right now. We put on a number of in-person and virtual events throughout the year covering topics like today's high-level introductory webinar to more advanced topics like getting your certifications and certification overviews. And we even cover things like the basics of doing business with DoD, cybersecurity, which is a huge topic in the federal marketplace right now. And the best part is all of these trainings, no matter where you're coming to us from, are absolutely no cost to register for and absolutely free to attend. But in addition to these trainings, we maintain a robust website of links, resources, and web pages that can help educate you and provide information about government contracting and how you can be successful in it. And this is my personal favorite pillar because it's available to absolutely anyone, no matter where you are, at absolutely no cost. So, if you are looking for more resources and information, please do check out our webinar library of past recorded training events, as well as our website with a ton of information, links, and resources. And if you're looking for the next step to really jump into government contracting, please do sign up for our services. Remember, even if you're not within these 15 Northern California counties that we service, we are a nationwide network of centers that are funded to help businesses just like you find your success in government contracting. So there is absolutely a center near you who can help. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off to Liz.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Amanda. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. And as Amanda mentioned, it's a bright, sunny day in the Bay Area. I'd like to start about when we talk about government contracting, we're referring to doing business with any level of government, whether it's federal, whether it's state, county, city, tribal, and more. This webinar is designed to provide you with an overview of the unique advantages of government contracting. You'll learn how to get ready to work with government agencies and gain better understanding of the procurement processes that guide how the government conducts business. We're also here to help you determine whether government contracting is the right fit for you. Today's session will cover many of the critical aspects of working with the government entities. Doing business with government agencies provide tremendous opportunities for small businesses. To succeed, it's important to understand the specific needs of each agency and be prepared to offer practical, cost-effective solutions to the agencies. There are many areas of contracting, including purchasing of products and materials, professional services, and public works construction, and each offers different opportunities. My biggest takeaway for you today is to learn the basics of doing business with the government agencies. Remember, big journeys start with small steps. In my 35 years of experience, I've seen firsthand how a small business can grow into a multi-million-dollar enterprise through government contracting. Next. The basics of government contracting. The government contracting refers to a formal process by which individuals or organizations provide goods, services to government agencies. According to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, the government spends hundreds of billions annually on procurement. It's one of the biggest buyers globally. It awards a significant volume of contracts annually to fulfill a wide range of public needs. Next, government contract processes. The process begins when a government agency identifies a need and publicly posts that request into a request for proposal or an invitation for bids. Once the responses are submitted, a contracting officer evaluates them based on the factors like cost, capability, and adherence to the regulations. The procedures are designed to ensure transparency and fairness throughout the contracting cycle. So the life cycle starts from when they identify through the notice to award and then administration of those contracts. So next, the federal acquisition regulations are standardized acquisition methods defined by law. The federal acquisition outlines how federal agency must handle the contracting process, from solicitation to award to post-contract management. Now, in order to participate in the federal contracts, you must be registered in SAM. And in the registration process, you will have to identify your entity, your information, your codes of work, and many other information. So again, in order to participate in the federal contracting, you must be registered in SAM. So next. Federal and state procurement procedures. The government procurement is the official method by which agencies acquire what they need. They have various methods and several forms. There's competitive bidding, which allows multiple registered suppliers to submit offers with contracts awarded based on cost and merit. Then there's sole source contracts, which are used when one vendor can reasonably meet the agency's needs, often due to unique qualifications or technology. And then there's also subcontracting opportunities where small vendors can support a larger contracts through a prime, often in specialized or region-specific roles. Contracting officers manage these processes. They issue the solicitation, they evaluate, and negotiate the final agreement. Understanding your role may be helpful for those considering career in the contract and government operations. So next. Now, as I mentioned, there's various ways you can participate as a prime in which you would work directly with the government. Or you can participate as a sub working for a prime who is directly contracted with a government agency. Now, my experience when I was working with Santa Clara VTA is we had a large design bid build project. And that project had 3 joint ventures as a prime and approximately 175 subcontractors. This project alone was almost $1 billion. And there's many, many opportunities for you to participate as a subcontractor. So you could be tier 1, tier 2, all the way down the endless possibilities, right? So next. And the recent changes that I wanted to share with you is that as a small business, there's a threshold changes effective October 1st, in which the micro purchase had increased from 10,000 to 15,000, and the simplified acquisition threshold increased from 250,000 to 350,000. That's a significant change, and this is to keep pace with inflation. What it means is that if you were providing supplies, right, the procurement officer can go directly and provide you with a micro purchase. And that's why it's important that they can purchase directly to you with their cards, right? Sometimes certain contract administrators have that authority to spend up to 15,000. Now, the simplified acquisition also will provide you opportunities as a small business to participate in contracts. There's several other ceilings and approval levels that moves up to, including the 8A SOSURs. So now the justification triggers moving from 25 million to 30 million. So with these recent changes, you can go into the link provided here and obtain more information. And the benefits of these are really important because it allows you to do a lot of contracts with the government with a simple acquisition, right? Okay, next. Recipe for success. A lot of people are saying, okay, how do I get started? I'm really interested in government contracting. Well, the very first thing I would recommend is that you apply to our SBA SBDC, which stands for Small Business Development Center. They can help you establish a business. They can help you provide review of your business plan. They can also provide you with loans and grants, right? Grants are free money. You don't have to pay that back. They can also prepare you for market research and help you provide your website. There's so many other trainings that's free and available to you at no cost. So I would recommend applying for the Small Business Development Center. Next. Now, how do you get started, right? Your journey starts here. If you have not applied to our APEX Accelerator, this is the time. I'm one of 6 procurement specialists. I can help you with your codes that's required for registration with federal and state. So for state, you must select the North American Industry Classification System. For the, that's for federal. And for state, it's United Nations Special Products and Special Codes. And we can help you select that. We can also help you register with Cal eProcure, which is a California state marketplace. And then we can help you get certified, either a small business or disabled veteran. For federal contracting, you must be registered with SAM, which is the System Award Management System. Every single entity must be registered in SAM in order to do federal contracting. You'll obtain a unique entity number, and also once you complete the registration, you will get a cage code. And once you have that set up, your information from SAM would be provided in the SBA Dynamic Small Business Search. Some of the proprietary or confidential information in SAM will remain in SAM, while the public profile will be in the SBA Dynamic Small Business Search. You can have your capability narrative, you can have your capability statement link, you can have the keywords and all the other information in your SBA Dynamic Small Business Search. Now, later on, I'm going to also talk about capability statement. Capability statement is similar to a resume. When you're applying for a job, you normally have a resume. When you're looking for government contracts, you will need a capability statement for your business. Another thing too that I highly recommend when you're getting started is consider having a website. It's very important now, especially for any business to have a website. But if you do have a website, have a government tab and attach your capability statement. And the last item is identify your prospects. What agency would you like to work with? And if you don't have that information, we can actually help you do some market research. All right. So next. Now, once you complete your registration, you can apply for certain government certifications. For federal, you must be registered in SAM, and you can self-certify a small business or a small disadvantaged business. Now, for women-owned certified business, you must apply through the SBA. If you're veteran-owned, very similar. You also need to apply for veteran-owned certification. Now, if your business is located in a historically underutilized business zone, You can also apply for HubZone certification. And the third thing is the 8A Business Development Program. You can also apply to the SBA certified. Now, the DBE program is a separate certification by the Department of Transportation. So you have to apply through a unified certification program, and each state would have that. The state of California has the California Unified Certification Program. There's a lot of changes recently to the DBE program, and if you are already certified, we can help you with fulfilling some of the requirements due to the changes of the interim rule. This rule is effective on October 1st of 2025. So I think it's October 1st or October 3rd. But we can help you because what the new requirements now is similar to the business development program is you have to have a social and disadvantaged narrative that you have to provide and submit. And it must be reviewed and approved by your certifying agency. So there's a lot more information that's coming. So keep an eye on that. If you have any questions, I can also help you. The next thing is the state of California. The state of California has a small business certification, small business public works, and also the disabled veteran business enterprise. Just like the federal, you must be registered with the state of California to Cal eProcure, and then you would click on the state certification. This is a really good one because it normally takes 30 minutes to complete it. Once you review your documents to upload, it takes 30 minutes, and within 5 to 10 days, you will have your certification. And very similar to the SAM, it takes about an hour to register, but once you're registered, you can apply for these federal certifications. Next. Now we have covered the federal and state. The third item is local contracting. The differences between federal and state. The federal, you must comply with the federal acquisition regulations. The state, you must comply with the California Contracting Code. Local contracting is based on the county, city, or other regulations that applies. Local, it also includes transportation agencies, school districts, and so many other things. Typically, they use their own procurement processes, and sometimes it's not as complex as a federal or a state. Also, there's local business preferences. So San Francisco County or city does have their own local business enterprise certification. Alameda has a small local emerging business certification, and these will help you. And it's an advantage for you to be certified. And also in some cases, they have preference. You can get a 5% preference or whatever the requirement is. So if you are interested in here, click on the list of links that we have on our website, and we can also help you. So next, capability statement. Remember how I mentioned earlier that when you're looking for a job, you need a resume. Well, when you're looking for government contracts, you will need a capability statement. It's, well, you know, you can have 1 or 2 page, but I would recommend a 1 page. And just like a resume, you can have multiple versions of this, right? But you may want to consider preparing a very generic one that you can upload to your website. And it should include, and again, we have a template in Word in our website, but it should include a brief paragraph. Now, keep in mind this paragraph, you can also link to your SAM or your dynamic small business search so that when somebody is reviewing your entity information, you will have this capability narrative in it. And also focus on your core competencies, right? A lot of times people have a tendency to say, hey, I can do everything. I'm certified, I'm a contractor, I can do everything that you need. But you know what? Sometimes when you only have a few seconds to review a capability statement, it's good to be focused. Because a lot of times people say you could be a jack of all trades, but a master of none, right? So keep that in mind when you're putting your core competencies and be focused. Differentiators. What makes you different? You could be a small business, certified women-owned. You could have certain types of services that makes you different from other entities or companies. Put in your key clients, right? It's always good to highlight your key clients. And just like a resume, this is a live document, right? Your biggest marketing is actually your last client that you work with. Put in your past performance. And as I mentioned earlier, you have your federal codes, which is the North American classification system. And you also have your state, which is United Nations special products and codes. So you can put those in there and put a little description. Don't just put the number, because after working 35 years for a government agency, sometimes the numbers, sometimes it's hard to determine, okay, what is actually the codes or the work that this company does, right? It's hard. If you have any specific contact information, like if you have various groups, various people that they can contact, put it in there. Always have a website if you have one. And images is good. I like images. And again, images say 1,000 words, right? So that really helps me. And keep in mind that, some agencies, they only have a few minutes to review this, right? And if you're contacted by an agency, you should take your capability statement and do a 45-second high pitch. Okay? You should have that memorized, everything that you have in your capability statement, because when they call you, they only have a few seconds, right? And if you can have a high pitch, explaining your core competencies, that would really help them. Now, next. Contracting website. I know it's very expensive. I know it's hard to maintain, but I highly recommend it, because when you have registration and it's put into the public profile in SBA, Dynamic Small Business Search, it's so easy for them to review your company. In the olden days, and again, I go way back, right? I started working for a government agency in 1985. We used to be able to say, okay, this is the company we're looking for. We want to reach out to them. You would give them a call, and maybe they'll call you back the next day or 2 days later. And then by that time, you already forgot what everything was all about, right? But now, in 2025, you can actually say, hey, I found this company in SAM, and let me click on their capability statement link and then go into their website and learn more about them, right? So it's very important to have a website. It's important to also make it easier and not to navigate your whole website. Just have a government tab. Have a link of your capability statement because it's very possible that they're going to download that and it's important. Registration certifications. Do not forget to add these, okay? It's important that people know that you are certified, whether it's women-owned, veteran-owned, hub-zone. The reason for that is because federal agencies normally have a goal, right? Or sometimes they would have set aside contracts for veterans. So it's important that you include those information and also, put it in your capability narrative that you are certified and registered. Now, the highlight also is putting your most recent projects. People would like to know, oh my gosh, they just recently completed this huge project or they participated in this program. It's important to highlight that. If you go back 10 years and say, I used to work for this university 10 years ago, but now I'm highlight your most recent projects. And also past performance, right? It's important to review your past performance or history of sales. And lastly, make it easy to navigate. Okay? Don't make them look around for 5 minutes trying to find information on your capability statement. Make sure it's easily navigated, okay? So next. And here are some examples, And as I mentioned, don't just put the number of the codes, have a description. And also narrow it. Don't put more than 10, or maybe even less. But it's important that, that you have your top or primary codes and the list of clients. It's important to also know, okay, what government agency have you had experience with? And it's good to highlight those. Next. Marketing to government agencies, right? I also highly recommend that you develop a marketing strategic plan to target agencies or primes. We can use various type, and we have GovSpend that we can help you determine what agency actually buys what you sell. It's important. Network and establish relationships. It's important that you attend some of their networking events. Also, a lot of those agencies would invite their prime contractors working on their projects. Or in some cases, network with other small businesses because you have opportunity to work and partner, and it's important to do that. Attend expos, matchmakers, conferences, participate in training, because it's always important that when you attend an in-person or training, you have the ability to ask questions to subject matter experts. Also social media, that's a big part now with all of the businesses. And this is another thing too. Norcal APEX can connect you to small business liaison officers. Whatever agency, whether it's a state, federal agencies, we can determine who the small business liaison for that agency, and also with prime contractors. And give you that contact information. And I can't say enough about the SBA Dynamic Small Business Search because your information that you register with SAM is provided in a public search through the DSBs. Okay, so that's opportunities you have to market to government agencies. Finding bid opportunities. This is really important also because local agency websites, we have those procurement websites for the county, the cities, transportation agencies, and we may also have some other agencies. So for example, some of my clients been asking for school districts, so I would have some of those. Or they may have questions about other local agencies, and I can give them contacts for them. Prime contractors. You know, the best way to find construction related projects with Caltrans is through Caltrans Contractors Corner. And you have ability to navigate that website and you can opt in. So you can opt in as a prime looking for subcontractors, or you could opt in as a sub looking for a prime. The important part about that is anybody who is interested in bidding out projects can see your website and your information. Now, as a sub or a prime, you can also go in to the prime contractor seeking help and get their contact information, their website, their phone number, the type of work that they're looking for, the type of certification, and so on. So it's important to find these opportunities in various. Now, Cal eProcure is a state marketplace. They have over 150 they have departments, right? So in agencies. So you can actually look for DMV, Caltrans, every single department within the state will post their contracts opportunities in their website. And just like Caltrans Contractors Corner, you can opt in as a vendor. Okay? By opting in as a vendor, it's free marketing for you. The next one is SAM contracting opportunities. When you log into SAM and you can search by contracting opportunities, and you have certain keywords that you will use, right? If you're a contractor that can provide electrical, plumbing, drywall, those are a lot of opportunities that you can put in there and you can search it and it will provide you with information. Acquisition.gov provides procurement forecasts. Also, I would highly recommend that if you look in some agency websites, they have the minutes of meetings, and sometimes they'll provide you with information when they're going to release a construction project or consulting, and it'll be provided to you at them. There's also Builders Exchange, Chamber of Commerce that you can look through, and they'll provide you with bid opportunities. Now, just like what Amanda had mentioned in the beginning, is we also have a bid match service. This is a free membership offered to you at no cost. You have to provide contact information because every day you will receive one notice for all the contracting opportunities. And in there, it will provide you with the information based on the keywords or codes that you had put in bid match. Okay, so a lot of my clients, the majority of them who's doing federal contracting and state, normally finds these opportunities using bid match. But in order to use that, it's best that you are registered with Cal eProcure and SAM. Okay, next. Okay, this is the most fun part. Your 10 steps to success, right? The most important thing is determine if you're ready. Government contracting is different, right? And federal, you have to comply with the federal acquisition regulations. State must comply with the California Contracting Code. And then local, you have to comply with each agency's requirements. It's not easy, okay? But if you decide that this is the right thing for you, we can help you. We can walk you through the registration. We can help you with finding contracting opportunities. Once you find one, we can help you review it. We can help you put together a proposal or bid, and then also help you submit it. We have to review to make sure that you're responsive and responsible proposer or bidder. Okay, there's a lot of things that you have to learn, and you know, it could be just a matter of, hey, there's a mandatory walkthrough for this type of construction to replace the roof. You didn't attend. So even though you prepared your bid, even though you have your sub and you have everything ready, you don't meet the requirements because you have not participated in the mandatory walkthrough, right? Or sometimes if it's a proposal, somebody might say, okay, you know, there's administrative requirements. It can't be more than 25 pages. It has to be 12 fonts. And there's, you know, borders that you have to comply with. Your proposal, your cost proposal have to be in a separate bid package. If you don't follow those and you say, well, I have pictures, I have images, even though it's 28 pages, you know, those are just pictures. Guess what? When they say no more than 25, you don't meet those requirements. I had one instance when I was working with BART where, you know, they were supposed to submit all the proposals. It was a multi-million-dollar project and it had to be submitted by noon. Well, they had a person delivering the product, but they didn't realize that you had to sign in the reception room downstairs in order to go upstairs. They had met at 12 o'clock in the reception, but they were 5 minutes late when they got into our office and when it was stamped. Right? So they had a box full of proposals. And I felt so sorry for the person who delivered it because they were late and we could not even open it. Right? So when you apply for Norcal APEX services, we will help you the best way we can. The next thing is complete your getting started checklist, you know. Check those to make sure that you have met all of the requirements. The next thing is get certified. Getting certified as women-owned, hubs-owned, veteran-owned, small business, those are advantages for you. And the reason for that is because There's normally set aside contracts by the federal government if you're certified women of some 8A and so on. And for the state of California, there's a 25% goal for all contracts to small businesses. Okay. And that's a big advantage, and a 3% for disabled veteran. So I highly recommend get certified. Create your capability statement. You know, just like looking for a job, you can't look for a job without a resume. So when you're looking for government contracts, have a capability statement. Update your website, you know, network, build relationships, and develop a marketing strategic plan, how you would reach out. Locate opportunities, and we can help you with that. Again, we have bid match. And then the next thing is fail and then try again. A lot of clients that I work with actually wanted to learn what's the best way to learn about government contracting. And I said, once you're registered, once you're certified, the best way is actually to submit bids. If you don't even submit bids, you have zero chance. But at least when you submit a bid, you have 50-50 chance. And one of the greatest tools is when you submit a bid, the government agency is required to provide you with debriefing. Debriefing allows you to review how well you did versus another business. They'll give you the rankings. They'll give you your strengths, your weaknesses, right? And sometimes they may have the cost labeled as confidential or proprietary, but sometimes they don't, right? So you have opportunities to obtain that through a debriefing. And if you want a copy of the proposals, you can ask for Freedom of Information Act. They are required to provide you with proposals that won the contract. Or in the state of California, you can apply for the California Public Records Act, and they'll also provide you with that. It's a great tool to learn. Okay, the winning proposer had won the contract, and here's a sample of their proposal or bid. Win contracts, right? And a lot of times you have to try. I had a client who started out, he's a painting contractor and he did work for federal and state. The first contract he submitted, he lost by $27, right? So what he did is he learned through that and he tried to review the cost. But I always tell my clients, do not lower your cost or your bid just to win contracts. You have to have a competitive one and have a profit. Just that's what we want, right? You want to be able to win contracts and have profits. All right, next. So we're here to help you. We have 6 counselors who has various experience. And my experience is with local agencies, basically BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit. I work with the County of Alameda and also Santa Clara VTM. And I'm working there for over 35 years. I can help you with state, federal, and local contracting. And with that, I'll turn it over to Amanda.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Liz. It's a very high level overview of bits and pieces that you need. I always say this webinar is the foundation that you need to really find success in government contracting. So thank you so much for that presentation. And if you out there in the audience do feel like you're ready to take that next step, you're ready to jump into government contracting and start doing your market research, or even if from a couple of the questions and the comments, I know some of you out there have already submitted bids. We are happy to take you on as clients and help you polish them, help you perform on them, and really support your success in government contracting. So, before we go into our Q&A, I do want to cover just a couple of other upcoming events that you may be interested in attending. I do know, based on a few of these questions, you may definitely be interested in some of these events. So next Tuesday on November 4th at 10 a.m., we'll be joined by a representative from California DGS to present the second part of the three-part introductory series titled I'm Certified, Now What? And do not worry, as it is a three-part series. If you missed the first part, you are welcome to review it before the second session on our website from our webinar library, which I will go ahead and drop in chat so you can check that out and then register for part 2 and later on part 3 at the end of November. So let me go ahead and drop that information in there. And then another exciting event that we have coming up this November on the 12th, we'll be joined by one of our other procurement specialists, Mary Jo Juarez, to discuss how and when to communicate with your contracting officer. It goes into the finer details of that marketing strategy and whether you should reach out by phone, email, or even snail mail letter. So that's going to be a fantastic one covering some of the finer details of marketing and communication with your contracting officer. And then, as I mentioned just a bit ago, we have part 3 of our three-part California contracting series, which will go over how the state actually issues its contracts and how they procure their larger items, titled Contracting with the California State Government. So if you're interested in contracting with California, we have quite a few events coming up. And if you did miss that first session, you can check out that recording on our webinar library. But with that, I'd love to get into some of these questions. So first up, and this is not the first question I will recognize, but I do think it leads into something we were just recently talking about, the debriefs and how you can request debriefs after a solicitation period. So it seems like one of our attendees has been submitting bids, but hasn't been able to get the feedback that you say is required of them. Do you have any information or any advice on how they can go about connecting with that agency to get a debrief and get that feedback on their proposal?
They are required to have a debrief, but if they do not, you can obtain a copy of the proposals through public records request. It's called, there's normally a link on their website and they'll say request for public records. If it's a state, it'll be under FOA, which is Freedom of Information Act. If it's if it's federal, it's Freedom of Information Act. If it's a state, it'll be under California Public Records Act. And it's normally in their website. So you know, you can search. And if you need assistance, please contact us and I'll be more than willing to help you with them.
Absolutely. And that was going to be my follow-up question is the counselors can help their clients kind of work through that process to either get to someone who can debrief with you or get the records so you can debrief with your counselor. That's one of the, I would say, one of the greatest parts of having the counselors in your corner. And then Becky was wondering, it looks like she's looking into state contracting and is wondering if you heard any whisperings of the small business public works and if there are any changes to the employee maximum. It sounds like they make under the dollar amount for state contracting, but they're just over the employee max.
Unfortunately, the state do have the 200 employee. If what I can do is I can reach out to the Department of General Services. Um, and another thing too, just like what Amanda said, you can participate in the next training, right? Because
Hmm.
GSA of DGS will be participating in that, and they should be able to help you
Yeah.
because the certification for small business public works is through the Department of General Services.
Absolutely. And I think that would be a fantastic event for you to attend, Becky, and ask this question of a representative, because even if they may not know off the top of their head, having that contact information for that liaison or that advocate with DGS will be fantastic. And I do believe, though I will say, check the recording. I'm not an expert in government contracting. That would be Liz here today. But even if you don't qualify for the small business public works, you do likely qualify for the small business, which is
Yes.
often interchangeable. So possibly a good option. And then Jason was wondering, one of the most common questions we get at this event, he was wondering if his products are purchased by the government. And so before we go into listing his products, which I can say just from my limited experience, absolutely is purchased by the government. He sells manufacturing and industrial for semiconductors, laboratory, solar, EV batteries. So definitely I've seen RFPs at the state and federal level for that. But I think a better question would be, Liz, what wouldn't be a good product or service for the government? Because I do know that list is actually shorter.
You know, one of the requirements for receiving our funding is to help manufacturing industries. So this is a great opportunity. And if you haven't applied yet, and I would highly recommend that you apply because semiconductor laboratories, solar, and so on, that is one of the areas where trying to increase the number of clients. We also, in addition, we have federal laboratories that has a lot of contracting opportunities. So this would be something that the government would be interested in. And sometimes too, if you have innovative products, we can also recommend the Small Business Innovative Research, SBIR,
Mhm.
and you can receive funding from the government for special projects that you're thinking of selling.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, are you certified? Are you registered yet? You know,
Those are the big questions.
yeah,
And yeah, it always amazes me just how much the government buys. I think like there are even government agencies who like have to purchase hotel rooms or event venues and that kind of thing. It's rarer. It's definitely not going to be what sustains your business revenue wise, but it can be a nice little chunk of change. So
yes.
that's why we do these events to really show the breadth and really the opportunities out there. And with that, I do see we are just at time, so we are also out of questions. I always love it when it lines up like that. So, as one final thank you so much, Liz, for this presentation. As always, it is a pleasure presenting with you.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah, and thank you all so much for joining us today. It's always great to see you in chat, and I love all of the positivity, the networking, and the resource links. So as you exit this webinar, you will be redirected to our feedback survey. If you have but a brief moment, it is very, very short. And we do really value your feedback on these events because we put these events on for businesses just like you. So if we could be doing better in producing them, if we could be doing different topics that you want to see, this is the perfect place to let us know because we're not going to know if you don't tell us. On the flip side, if you think this was a great presentation and would love to see more introductory trainings like this one, that is also a great place to tell us. So if you have a moment, as always, we appreciate any feedback you would have for us. And with that, thank you once again for joining us, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. Bye, everybody.
Bye.